Today, we travel back to the world of an ancient community that is so distant yet familiar to our modern societies. We trace the footsteps of people on a journey heading to the promised land. Welcome to the Sebcast, where we turn our beloved stories on their heads, look at what history might have overlooked, discover anew, and grow together. It begins with a single question, whispered in frustration by a group of newly freed slaves. What is it? When they saw manna in the wilderness for the first time, they asked, "What is it?" The Hebrew word manna literally means, "What is it?" This bread from heaven was strange, mysterious, and unknown, but it was the food that sustained the Israelites. Today, we would call it sustainability. A system where you may gather only enough food for one day and nothing more? It sounds like a logistical nightmare, but maybe that was the point. The Israelites were slaves dependent on the Egyptians for food, water, and shelter. Now they had a new master, the God who freed them and turned their hearts to trust him. Each morning they had to get up, gather just enough manna for the day, and eat. If they tried to collect more than necessary, it would rot. God created a system that required dependence. Spin a few millennia forward. We also gather, but not necessarily food, no certainty. We save for retirement, buy insurance for every possible situation, and plan with 5-year plans to the last detail. But what if this obsession with control is not only unnecessary, but harmful? Behavioral psychologists argue that our inability to live in the present while relentlessly chasing guarantees feeds modern anxiety. It's like storing manna for tomorrow, and metaphorically speaking, it still rots. To understand this better, I once spoke to a historian who studied ancient nomadic societies. They understood the fragility of life, he explained. But they also understood something we've forgotten, the power of a community built on daily trust. Perhaps we need to rediscover, like the Israelites, the discipline to trust, not in systems, but in each other, and maybe even in something greater. After all, the Israelites didn't just learn how to gather bread, they were taught how to trust. Perhaps manna wasn't just about feeding their bodies, it was about feeding their faith. So the question remains, centuries later, what is it? Maybe it's a question we should ask about our own lives. What would it look like to trust enough to live just for today? Of course, the point is not that we should now cancel our 5-year vision, life insurance and retirement policy, or give up on our parenting or marriage. The question is, when is enough enough? Enough time at work, enough time with others, enough money for this or that? The question should rather be, do I now use what I have, perhaps in abundance? Time, love, care, and possessions, to help others get enough, teach others how it works, invite others into a network that works, and create possibilities for others that they cannot achieve on their own? How do I get myself to simply be present today in my network, my marriage, my parenting, my friendship, and my collegiality? How do I trust the Lord for tomorrow? By being fully present today. We'll talk more tomorrow. Until then, take care.